Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, February 9th, and you are watching Wake Up Albany. I'm Annie Waslowski.
I'm Sasson.
I'm Amanda Baskine.
And I'm Nelson Eusebio.
I hope everyone had a really great weekend. The weather is starting to get a lot nicer.
It is. I mean, it's starting to warm up, but the funny part was last night, I remember everything started to melt down, but later on in the night, everything started to turn to ice again.
It's all icy everywhere you walk now.
It's like little ice patches, so you have to
like
keep a lookout for them.
Yeah, so watch your step when you walk around campus.
Exactly. Be careful, guys.
The first issue for today.
It was a pretty big weekend. First things and foremost, back to Albany. The Big Purple Growls this weekend. I hope everybody out there was able to attend. It was definitely a big event. I was able to watch it on TV. It was pretty thrilling most of the game. Anybody see it?
I was there.
So,
it was pretty crazy.
It was a great game. Unfortunately, Albany came out to be the losers in a 79-70 game. They lost to Vermont. But it was pretty good to see everybody out there supporting. Everybody was running around, faces painted. So it was a real good event for everybody to watch out. So hopefully next year we'll be able to win. But it was a lot of fun for everybody that was there.
How long was the wait in the line?
I bought tickets in advance, but one of my roommates went at 3 o'clock, and she got her tickets because they went on sale at 4, but they were out of t-shirts. And if you heard that, apparently the guy who makes the t-shirts messed up a little. It was the Big Purple Growl, but the t-shirts were white. So everyone wore white, and it was a white out. So it was, I think Vermont got a kick out of that, but
Yeah, probably.
they were all in green, so they were good.
That's interesting. That's actually nice.
It was cool. It was cool.
Last night was the 51st Grammy Awards, and Neil Diamond was honored as the Music Cares Person of the Year. He was honored by Coldplay, Kid Rock, and the Foo Fighters, all of whom played renditions of Diamond's songs. The biggest winner with 5 Grammys, including Album and Record of the Year, was Plant and Krause for their work, Freezing Sand. I hadn't heard of them before. I don't know if you guys had. But other big winners were
I'm drawing a blank there.
Coldplay won Song of the Year for Viva La Vida, Best Rock Album, Best Pop Performance by duo or group with vocals, and Lil Wayne, who was the most nominated artist at the Grammys, took away 4 Grammys. He was nominated 8 times, and he took awards for Best Rap Song, Best Rap Performance, and Best Rap Album. Performances included an eclectic group of artists. Those who lit up the stage included Justin Timberlake, Paul McCartney, Kanye West, Katy Perry, the Jonas Brothers, T.I., and the very pregnant M.I.A. And M.I.A. was actually supposed to give birth yesterday, and she was up there, like she looked like she was ready to. That baby was about to come out.
I saw a picture of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Speaking of M.I.A., 2 artists who were supposed to perform and were nominated were actually not at the Grammys, Chris Brown and Rihanna. And Brown was nominated for 2 Grammys, and Rihanna was nominated for 3, and the LA police were looking for Brown last night because the female alleged that Brown was involved in a domestic violence incident that took place at 12:30 in the morning on Sunday in a vehicle near Hollywood's Hancock Park. The police say that the 2 were allegedly involved in an altercation which ended with the alleged victim suffering visible injuries. The alleged victim claimed that Brown was the person who attacked her. And this morning, Brown turned himself into the police and was charged with a felony in connection with the incident involving domestic violence. He was released on $50,000 bail, according to the LA Police Department. And according to the LA Times, Rihanna was actually said to be the victim of this. Domestic dispute, I guess.
Yeah, Rihanna was supposed to perform last night.
Yeah, they both were. Al Green and Justin Timberlake ended up taking the first spot because one of them was supposed to open, and they performed "Let's Stay Together," Al Green's song. So that was like totally off the cuff, and they were just.
I believe Chris
They were
Brown
the
was
best
supposed to
performances.
perform first,
Yeah.
but he pulled out, and then Rihanna pulled out too.
She probably didn't want. I mean, if she was the victim, obviously that's why she pulled out. But if she wasn't, that she probably just didn't want to be questioned on the red carpet and stuff.
People probably had a lot to say about it.
It was pretty shocking. I mean, Chris Brown.
You guys
I did not
like,
imagine that.
The boy Image. We never expected him to do something like that.
I was watching the pre-show on E, like live from the red carpet, and they were like, "Is Rihanna and Chris Brown, are they going to show up together? Are they going to show up apart?" Like, it's always a big question, and they end up not showing up. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Another big thing about the Grammys, I got kind of excited myself. I know everybody else was talking about it. Blink 182 is coming back
Yeah,
yeah,
they
so,
announced it.
That was all over the internet right away once they announced it. So everybody get ready. Blink 182 is gonna be back.
That's really
Good for
exciting.
them.
Yeah,
That was like back in the day.
That
Look
was I
forward
was
to
in middle school
definitely.
when that CD came out with all the big hits. So.
they're always good in concert.
Exactly.
Apparently, I never went to one, but all my friends said they were like really good in concert.
At least you have the chance to go now.
We all
You're back.
together.
Right.
So in other news, a new stimulus plan is emerging in the capital, which will potentially help out college students in need of financial aid. In addition, there's the possibility of $1 billion to be handed out to various states in order to stop tuition increases, as well as to fix up college campuses across the nation. The House and Senate's pending bills are asking for an increase of the Pell Grants. The Pell Grants is the government's top college aid program that provides assistance for low-income students. The bill that the House is trying to pass is asking for $79 billion, while the bill that the Senate is trying to pass asks for $39 billion. All of this money is going to be used to prevent financial cuts in both local school districts and institutions of higher learning. The decision as to how the money will be divided between elementary schools and upper-level education institutions hasn't been decided, but what is definite is that these changes will help millions of students nationally, and the Center on Budget and Police Priorities estimate that 3.8 million students could be helped out if these changes proposed in the bills are passed.
That sounds good.
Especially with all the tuition hike and everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
in all
sounds-
honesty, anything that's gonna help me out at the end of the day, I really could use it because it's starting to get crazy, the prices of colleges.
Not to mention, it's like a good thing that they're finally trying to pay attention to us students instead of just like, taking out money from us or hiking up our tuition. They're actually focusing on us for a change. I mean, we're supposed to be the future, so it's kind of good.
The cost of some of these schools is ridiculous. Like, we go to a
Oh,
state
yeah.
school, but the private schools are just,
Twice
And
the.
that-
I don't know how
That
people
funny-
pay for it now.
That's starting to tie into another problem that's going on with community colleges. There's a huge increase in students going into community colleges because they just really can't afford to go to state colleges anymore.
Not to mention,
And that's
most
a big story.
students also want to go to grad school afterwards.
Right.
So it's kind of like, why pay so much
course,
for
with
private
so many
colleges when you have
jobs,
grad schools?
so many jobs nowadays are requiring that you don't just get your bachelor's, you get your graduate degree. So a lot of
And
students,
it's costly.
and it's
Saving
costly.
money.
I mean, have right here the average price for tuition in community colleges are $2,402, and with us, we're all state college, obviously, University of Albany, $6,585 for tuition a year. And for private colleges, which are the big colleges all around, it's actually $25,143 a year just for the tuition alone. So it's obvious to see that with the way the recession is going, it's not easy anymore to go to a regular big time college, to go to your Dukes, to go to your Ohio States and whatnot. You need to actually work around it nowadays. So the community colleges are starting to get a lot more overcrowded. But you would think with all the overcrowding going on that students were paying a lot more tuition and that community colleges would be benefiting. But ironically, that's not the case at all. With everything that's going on in the economy, community colleges are starting to actually have a lot of trouble, and they're starting to have to cut back themselves on acceptance. So this is starting to leave a lot more students out on the road without being able to get into schools at all because they really can't afford, the community colleges can't afford to accept them, and it's a big problem.
Right.
So look out for them.
I have something about that too, that state funds that they're used to make up the difference are drying up, so
Exactly.
they're losing money. And also have an advantage that more people are attending community colleges, that taking people out of the unemployment lines and putting them into school is a great way to take pressure off the economy. When we come out of the recession, we will have people of higher skills and better opportunities waiting for them. So that's an advantage of going to community college. When
right
people
now,
enrolling.
there's just so many problems with people actually getting jobs themselves that are already out of school and have no way to go back to school, that, to have more people trying to get into more jobs is just going to make a bigger problem for the economy. So any way that we could help to get students into school to start learning is definitely something that we need to do. And hopefully that the stimulus plan will help out with that.
I know that SUNY Binghamton received like a record amount of applications this year, so I guess it's gonna be harder to get into even state schools
SUNY
now.
Albany had the same thing. This was the biggest freshman class of the year, but I think it's going to be interesting to see next year if it's going to happen again, because this has been a growing trend. Every single year, our university actually has more and more students coming in and sending in applications.
That's funny that you said that though, because we're the biggest freshman class, but our tuition still went up.
Yeah.
That just goes to show that things aren't really working out the way we like them anymore. So.
I think the tuition hike is not just the university, but the state, because
Right.
it is a state-funded school, so the number might not necessarily affect.
I mean, Yeah, I mean,
increase.
when you go to private colleges, you definitely get scholarship and financial aid, but even that's still not enough to cover. Like, it's still cheaper for you to go to state university or a community college.
No, by far. So hopefully we'll get some help out there. Governor Patterson, if you're watching ATV, please help out. We need it big time.
We need it really bad.
What else we have out there? There's a lot
Well,
of news.
in national news, actually, we have Supreme Court Justice Ruth Ginsburg, who underwent surgery on Thursday for pancreatic cancer. This is the second time she went under surgery for cancer. The first time was in 1993 when she was diagnosed with colon cancer. She's also the first Supreme Court, not the first, but the only female justice sitting in Supreme Court right now.
Right.
It's kind of a big deal.
I think it's really a big deal because it was definitely noticeable when George W. Bush was able to nominate 2 justices onto the Supreme Court. And this might actually help out if she actually decides to retire, because as we all know, it's her choice if she wants to stay on the court or she chooses to retire herself. So Barack Obama is able to get a new justice in there. It's going to be definitely a big turning point for the Democrats. As we know, they have the House, they have the Senate, they obviously have the presidency. So now if they have a new justice, it's really going to start to equal out the playing field for the Democrats, and it's going to be a big difference that we'll be able to see.
Well, Justice Ginsburg is actually more on the liberal side
Right.
of the system.
Right.
So, I mean, it would definitely be a new change to have a new justice, just to get more points in there. But, I mean, she has been dealing with women's issues, like equality rights, and she's been through all that herself. So she has, like, a personal eye when it comes to those issues.
Now,
So, I
do you
mean-
guys think that if Obama actually has this opportunity, he's going to elect another girl to get onto it? Or you think that he's going to go towards a new man?
I don't know with Obama.
I mean, I
It's
feel
always
like-
full of
never know.
surprises.
I feel like
It'd be
either
nice to
way.
see another woman.
Yeah,
I really would.
absolutely.
Oh my gosh, she's 75 years old.
It's definitely, like, nice to see another woman, but, I mean, as long as the person is well qualified for the job and makes positive changes, it should not matter either way.
Right.
Definitely. What else?
Well, speaking of federal laws, actually, they're trying to do an aggressive federal effort to track down sex offenders. Currently, sex offender laws and registers are decided by the states itself. So what they're trying to do is when the sex offenders like cross states, they wouldn't be able to, they're still required to register with it, so we can still track them. The states are kind of saying that it's going to cost more money. It's still going to be like less effective. So we don't know how it stands, but it would definitely be a help to have like a legalized national system.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when you read that an estimated 100,000 sex offenders no longer live where they are registered.
I mean,
Hard to keep track
they're
of them.
registered somewhere, they can completely move, and they wouldn't have to register with a new state currently.
So if they move out of state, they don't have to register as a sex offender?
It has to be within their state, so I mean, they could totally move out, but if it's like a nationalized sex offense law, then they would have to register with like every state they go, they have to like be kept better track of.
Isn't there a website that I've seen that you could go onto in which
Right.
you could
Yeah,
locate the
there
sex offenders in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Now,
there
I
is.
think that's important because, I mean, if you have a family full of a lot of women or a family full of a lot of children, you
Yeah,
obviously want to
children
know who your neighbor
especially.
is. I mean, you don't exactly want to be living next to a sex offender. It's interesting.
It's
So
scary.
it is. So I think definitely a federal type of idea to handle
It
that
would
is
be
definitely
good.
the right way to go. Definitely.
Definitely. What else do you
In other U.S./international news, actually, I don't know if you guys heard about, but there was actually another plane crash that happened, another
Right.
unfortunate event. It was actually a plane taking off from the Dominican Republic. The plane was on its way to Puerto Rico, and the plane actually went down. It was actually a group of U.S. citizens that were on the
There's 6
plane.
of them.
6 of them that they actually can't find right now. They're actually hunting out for them, but
They've done 5 searches.
5
but
searches
they
and
still
they still
haven't been
can't?
able to find these 6.
that's a really unfortunate incident. I hope everybody turns out okay. Hopefully the families are out there. I feel really bad. It's not nothing we like to talk about too much.
Especially after the Hudson crash, it's
Right.
unlikely to hear of a lot of plane crashes. Planes don't crash.
Planes don't really crash, but that's what makes the Hudson incident so amazing, because there were 150 people on the plane and nobody died.
Oh, right.
And that's not something that happens every day. You hear a plane crash, you usually associate a plane crash with death, but it was an amazing thing to happen.
I actually read a news article where the captain of the pilot of the Hudson crash actually like stated that he was not thinking about praying even at that point. He was hoping everybody else in the back was praying. He was more focused on getting everything perfectly right, just because there was so much going on in his head. And he was like, he kept asking people after he got out if everyone survived or not. Like that was the most important thing in his mind.
He was all over the news this week. This week he was everywhere. I think it was really his big coming out.
He's supposed to be on the Letterman either last night or tonight, and a lot of the survivors, like, he's definitely a hero.
Didn't he receive the key to New York City?
He did.
As a reward
He
for
did that. He was on the Super Bowl. If everybody saw the Super Bowl, he came out. He's been all over the news everywhere. I actually saw for the first time a video of the plane going into the Hudson. It was chilling to me. I mean, I didn't know either. I was flipping through the channels today and I saw the plane went straight into the water. It was amazing that everybody was able to survive, so I'm happy about that. But again, it's not something that happens all the time. So.
I'm happy that he
hero.
was able to handle the situation and save everyone.
They said they need another word for hero because hero doesn't do him justice. Like what he did.
That's true.
And he walked up and down the plane to make sure everybody was out before he left.
Yeah.
So
He was also highly trained too. If that was a rookie pilot, I don't think the same results would happen. So thank God for that. In sports news, didn't we have something about A-Rod?
Sorry,
Yankee fan.
A-Rod is living up to his name. Came out that in 2003, while Alex Rodriguez was still playing for the Texas Rangers. 2003, the MLB actually went through a surveying process in which they surveyed random MLB players, Alex Rodriguez being one of them. But what was to happen was that all the results were going to be kept secret. They weren't going to be released to the public because it was just a survey to see exactly how big the problem was going on with Major League Baseball with the steroid scandal that was going on, obviously with Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, and countless other players. So it actually turned out on Saturday morning, that it was released. Somebody leaked it out that in 2003, Alex Rodriguez was tested positive for HGH, which is the human growth hormone, and steroid usage. This is huge. This is huge. This is really a saddening day for Major League Baseball because a lot of people were actually looking at A-Rod to be the savior, to get them out of this position that they were in. Obviously, Barry Bonds, he's the new home run king, and they were really looking for a way to get out of this. You know, it's all over the place. You turn on TV and all you ever see nowadays is Roger Clemens, Mark McGwire, countless other players on the news going to perjury charges, and it's a big thing. And they actually really felt like they needed Alex Rodriguez to save them from this. But it turned out that he's just like the rest of them. So I mean, it's a big problem, and people really don't know what to do. Alex, over the weekend, he was questioned countless times, but he chose not to talk about it. And they actually contacted his agent, Scott Boras. Scott Boras said he didn't want to talk about it himself. Major League Baseball doesn't want to talk about it. The union doesn't want to talk about it. So it's going to be actually coming up in the coming couple of days when players have to report for the World Baseball Classic, which is coming up. I think that's February 17th, that they're going to have to finally have their first chance to speak to Alex himself. He's going to have to confront it. And another big part of this is the New York Yankees, what they're going to do. They don't know. Alex just recently signed a 10-year contract worth $275 million. Is this going to be null and void? Analysts are saying no, it's not. But you know, there's always ways around it. It's going to be really bad. It's going to be a really scary story for himself and a really scary story for the New York Yankees and for Major League Baseball. So.
When he apparently used it, he was playing shortstop for the Rangers, and that year he won the MVP award and the American League title.
Right,
so.
It was his biggest year of his career, and obviously after that, 2004, he signed with the New York Yankees for the biggest contract at that time, which he just upped again with that $10 million 10-year contract that he signed. So a lot of people, if you read all through the news, are calling for his head. Basically, they want him gone. They don't want to have to deal with him, but again, it's not a pretty situation by any means, and it's really saddening. A lot of people are saddened by this.
He was seen as a role model by a lot of
For myself, I'm a huge Yankee fan myself. A lot of people that know me know that, and I was a big A-Rod fan. I was a big supporter, but now I don't really know where I sit anymore. I mean, it's not so much the fact that he cheated; it's the symbolism behind it. You know,
exactly.
You look up to somebody.
You
hurt the Yankees' image, and you look to honesty in a lot of people. You know, that's what role models do. They're supposed to be honest. They're supposed to be big people to help out with younger generations, and now he's a cheater.
He's only
Which-
33 years old, and
Right.
he's hit 553 home runs,
Right.
and a lot of people in the majors consider or think that he might succeed Bonds' career home record of
He's
762.
well on track to hit 800 home runs, and that was the big thing. He was going to be the clean player to hit 800 home runs. He's going to have the clean books, and it's not going to happen anymore if this proves out to be true. Again, these are allegations. It hasn't been confirmed yet. It probably most definitely is going to be confirmed, but they're allegations at the moment. So we need to look into that. And there's still 103 more players that haven't been named. So we're going to see what happens. This problem might be getting a lot scarier, a lot faster. So in the upcoming days, we're going to see what happens.
A lot of people want it published, like a book
They
of all
do.
the names, so
And
the public knows.
it's scary because this is going on all over the place. I mean, this just ties in again to Michael Phelps.
yeah.
I mean, he's having his issues, obviously, with smoking marijuana on TV, on camera. He was
Yeah,
caught in a picture.
Pictures, yeah.
And it's affecting him too. So sports all over the place. I mean, he just lost his deal,
He
right?
lost his deal with Kellogg's. The U.S. Olympic Committee wants to give him a refresher course of what good behavior is, and that's the CEO, Jim Scheer, who wants to do that. And they are unable to penalize him because the anti-doping rules do not exist for athletes who test positive for marijuana when they are not competing or once the Olympic Games have ended. So they can't really do anything to punish him. But his biggest sponsor was the Kellogg's Food Company, and they're not going to renew their contract with the swimmer. And the contract expires at the end of this month. And this was on Thursday. And also on Thursday, the U.S. Swimming suspended Phelps for 3 months. This includes withdrawing their financial support for him. And each month, Phelps receives $1,750 from the U.S. Swimming Organization. And he won't receive any of this money for 3 months. So he'll never see any of that money.
I'm pretty sure he has enough money about the Kellogg.
But he's losing all the support and
No, yeah, it does definitely hurts his image as well.
When something like that happens in major, like, sports events, it's like a lose-lose situation for everyone. No one wins out of it.
It's unfortunate because we have these people who are role models to all of us, as I said earlier, and they're not really turning out to be the people who we idolize, the people we see on TV, the people that we dream to be, the people who everybody looks up to for answers a lot of times, And it's unfortunate that a lot of these people all over the news are having so many issues. So
these are
hopefully-
two of the biggest stars,
Right.
like
Supposed to be setting
athletically.
examples.
Right.
Yes.
No, by far, they're two enormous stars all over the world, not throughout just the country itself. So hopefully things are going to start to turn out in the right. And athletes, I don't know what's going on with you guys, but
I don't understand is that so many people before the steroids issue have gotten caught and they see what happens to their careers goes downhill after that. So I don't understand why people are still doing it.
Right, and the most amazing part about this is a lot of these athletes don't need it. A lot of these athletes were already big fish in a small pond to begin with. They came out of high school, out of colleges, and everybody was raving about them. And from what we know, obviously they were not using steroids at that time. But I guess everybody, or doing scandals, smoking marijuana, for Michael Phelps' case, but I guess everybody feels like they always need an upper hand. And they're gonna go any way possible.
The marijuana doesn't even help Phelps.
No,
Like, for a swimmer,
no.
that doesn't help. I don't know why he's out there smoking
Right,
it.
right.
I guess he just wants to live a normal life as, how old is he, like 20?
23,
23.
yeah.
Not encouraging that, but, they're in the public light. They have to be careful what they do.
It's hard for them, I guess.
I mean, we also idolize them and expect them to be perfect, you know what I mean?
Right.
But they're also human beings. We have to keep in mind that they make mistakes too. So, we have to allow them to make their mistakes. They can't always be perfect for us.
No, nobody could, but
Let's see what else we have.
Well, in local news, I actually have the trial of a Putnam couple accused of repeatedly allowing their teenage son to host underage drinking parties, which trial is going to start on Monday. In this case, what happened was the son, who's 16 years old, Dustin St. Andrews, ended up getting drunk and then stealing a car on April 20th, and with 4 other people in the car, drove it off Route 22. 2 of the girls actually died in the incident. They were both 16, and the 2 other young men and Dustin himself escaped with minor injuries. He's supposed to be testifying against his parents actually on the trial coming up. He has pleaded guilty to vehicular manslaughter and is serving 2.5 to 7.5 years.
now you said he was gonna plead against his parents, or
He's going to. just because his parents actually knew about the parties going on and kept like encouraging him and like condoned pretty much it. So parents are actually facing numerous accounts of unlawfully dealing with a child and endangering the welfare of a child.
I mean, listen, alcohol and driving do not mix. There's no combination that's gonna work out.
He didn't have a license.
He didn't have a license either, so
I mean, he's 16
What were
years
they
old
thinking?
and he just ended two other girls' life who were 16 years old.
All because they wanted to have a party, have a good time. Parents probably wanted to be cool. You see it all the time.
I mean,
That's
he
the problem.
stole the
The parents
car
want to be
too.
cool, and
They want to be your
happens.
best friends
Yeah.
instead of setting like a good example for
they
you.
need to be parents. That's what it comes down to. At that age, especially when the alcohol first starts.
Especially with all these other things going on in the media, you know, I mean, we were just talking about how people who are in the spotlight are making so many mistakes. It's like leading a bad example. You should watch out for your own kids.
Not only their own kids, but the lives of others. Now they're responsible for the deaths of two of his friends. Like, how would...
I mean, their son survived, but he's in prison. They're going to get charged for crimes, so they're probably going to end up in
They're
prison
probably
too.
gonna end up in prison.
Definitely, and I mean, like, two girls are not even going to live through high school. They're not going to get to go to college or anything. It's kind of sad.
How do you live with that as a parent, like knowing that you may have caused it or you indirectly somehow caused it?
just because of one bad decision, one night.
I mean, can you imagine the parents of like the two girls? They must be like, if I were them, I would be
Oh,
really
yeah.
upset. Like, I mean, how could a parent allow that situation to happen?
I mean, it's just so opposite. Usually you see parents, and parents are fighting the kids not to go out,
Yeah.
not to be partying, not to be drinking, not to be smoking or whatnot.
I mean, he's
And
only
this is-
16. Who
he's
drinks at 16?
Right? I mean, he
That's
has
really
SATs
young.
and stuff to worry about.
I mean, like, worry about college.
with the problems that we're having in colleges, it's not going to be that easy to get in guys. So we
I mean,
have to
keep an eye
help
out
with
on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sad story.
Definitely.
It hits home since we're here. Big time.
Also, going into another local news, there in 13 years in Albany, there has only been one triple homicide, and the trial is actually supposed to occur in March 30th. The person accused of shooting his three friends is Jovan Underdew, who's 32 years old. He was apparently smoking marijuana too, and according to the cops, he lost control and point blank shot his three friends. Two of them were his best friends.
That should be the next commercial for the
Not
shoot commercials.
Yes, like not smoking. Are you under the influence? Like,
But that happened in Albany.
yes. Like there hasn't been a triple homicide in 13 years, and he shot three of his best friends.
That's terrible. And he was drinking as well, right?
Yes, one of them was actually the last one. Actually, was like trying to help his two friends that he already shot, and he was begging for mercy, and he apparently still shot him point blank on the face.
Oh my
How
god.
old was he?
The person shooting was 32, and everyone murdered was 26, 25, and Kanan Hankins, who was 16 years old only.
Right.
Oh wow.
I don't understand why a 16-year-old
Was hanging
hanging
out with a 32-year-old.
Doesn't sound good.
I mean, but still, I mean, it's just countless lives lost again.
That just goes when you guys drink or whatever you guys do on your weekends or on your nights, be careful. I mean, it's good to have some fun sometimes, but you got to be careful because at
Stay
any
in
moment
control.
it could be a life-changing situation, and you know these people obviously aren't in the best situations now, and God forbid that happens to anybody that you know. It's not something that you want to have to talk about or hear about or have hit close to you. You know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
Please be
like,
careful.
the gun was not even registered under his name, so it's kind of like, you know, he had access to the gun, which was lying around, so when he lost control, he could have used a knife or something, you know, maybe there would still been a chance instead of just shooting someone point blank.
that's the bigger story. I mean, how did he get
The
possession of a gun?
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
you hear that all the time, and city stories are obviously it's a bigger issue.
and we just keep talking about the drinking and the drugs problem, but gun problem is also another huge issue that we
Right.
should be focusing on too.
A lot of problems out there.
It's just
Really?
really sad.
Well, on the lighter side of the news, just something I came across that was pretty funny. In Sweden, I'm not even going to attempt his name because it's very Swedish. This man broke his own Guinness World Record for watching 72 hours of television nonstop.
Oh my god.
I probably have beaten it a couple of times on the weekend myself, going straight into Monday. But Is TV
I
really
think
that
I'd
interesting?
fall asleep.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on in the middle of the night on TV anyways? Like,
Your eyes have to get tired from looking at the screen for so
I
long.
would just usually fall asleep by then.
Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time,
So let's not try to make our own record of ourselves.
yeah.
We gotta actually wrap it up. For Wake Up Albany, I'm Nelson Eusebio.
I'm Amanda Baskine.
I'm Sasson.
I'm Annie Waslowski.
And Wake Up Albany, get out your beds.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.